Good evening, Board. Thank you for giving us a little bit of time this evening to give you an update on the bond project. I'd like to welcome Trustees Abel Baker to I think this is the first time we've had the honor to present to you. So Mr. Goldman here is going to walk you through the financials, a little bit of the construction activity, and it's hard to believe that we are about 18 months from completing the program. One second. What do we got here? Perfect. Thank you. David, you want to go ahead and take them through?
Yeah, sure. Hello, good evening. So I wanted to start kind of reviewing the financial table up on the top left. As you can see, our current bond budget is just over $207 million. As you'll recall from previous meetings, that number has increased from the original 155 number due to the loan interest carry that we have put into the program. Those loan interest carries right now are under the professional fees, and those are through August of 2024. So with the good investments that you guys have done, we expect that to climb, but as of right now, that's where it stands. So that's why the budget has increased as it did. Since we were here last with you guys in November, we have increased our projected commitments by like $15.7 million. That's because you guys awarded some bid packages, so thank you for that. Our actuals approved went up $6.6 million from last time in November. And our actual cost to complete, which is how much we have left, is 9.1 increase from last time. And then obviously, because we have more projected commitments, the forecasted commitments went down by that 15.8 million. So as Alan said, we are moving through the bond program very well. And right now we're showing just under $274,000 under budget right now as a whole. What I wanted to introduce next is the budget breakdown on the right, the pie chart. Obviously, the bond is more involved than just construction. So we have a breakdown of the four major categories across the bond program. It includes professional fees, help pay our architects, our CMs, ourselves, construction, obviously. There's a big 10% technology, and then FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment. So the bond is all inclusive of all four of those major categories throughout the program. On the bottom left is our program project schedule. It's just a snapshot of kind of where we have gone and where we are going. You can see a lot of the early on bid packages have been completed. You can see that the vertical line is kind of where we stand right now. We have two major projects underway. And obviously, we've actually started some of the summer work that we have planned for as well. And then on the right, I just want to go over a couple of the projects with you guys. The High School and Wellness Center, as you'll see in a few minutes, it's progressing really, really nicely. We have the heat on, the walls have been painted, flooring has been ordered along with the equipment to go into that wellness center. So when you drive by the high school, you'll see it, and at night it might even be lit up. We have the high school gateway and entrance and restroom building. The board approved that as well previously. They have actually started digging. When you come in to the high school off of Long Lake, you'll see kind of a construction site, and that's going to be the future restrooms building, along with next to it will be the gateway to enter the athletic complex. The Fox Hills building demolition is actually, the whole building has been demoed down to the ground. They are starting to clear all that debris off the site, and then they will start on getting rid of all the foundations underneath it. So by springtime, our plan is to have that site cleared, restored with grass seed, and usable during the summer. The ball fields at that site will remain in use. They can be in use now. Obviously, the weather permits that, but
And the parking lot.
Yep, the parking lot will remain as well. Thanks, Alan. The loan Pine exterior entryway, that was another bid package that was approved previously. We're going to spruce up that ramp step area. There's some flower boxes that are falling apart, so we're going to upgrade that. And that will be taking place this summer in conjunction with the schoolwork inside. International Academy is going to get their secure vestibule this summer. We are going to be in all 4 elementary schools doing a lot of interior finishes throughout. And like I said earlier, they have already started some of that pull-ahead work. If you walk into Lone Pine in the back, you'll see some new flooring installed. So they are starting to make progress on that. We thank the district and the board for helping us get to advance that work before the summer. Bloomfield West and robotics building is well underway. You'll see it in my pictures here. And then coming up, we still have planning for the farm, the nature center, transportation renovation and expansion, and then some work here at Booth and the high school. So just wanted to give you guys some quick updates picture-wise of what I just talked about. On the top left, you'll see the exterior of the Wellness Center. As we spoke to Barton Mallow this morning, where that exposed plywood is at the top and the bottom, they're actually starting to install the cladding that will go on there, so you'll start to see a more finished product here in the next couple weeks. The right side, these are all pictures from the inside, so top right is kind of looking southeast towards the high school and parking lot entrance. Columns are painted purple with the school colors, and like I said, all the interior paint is pretty much wrapping up. And the flooring is going to be coming early May-ish. So
Yeah, late April, early May.
Some other interior pictures. We're working with some graphic people to get some, West Bloomfield or Bloomfield Hills High School graphics on those 2 gray parts and the purple part. And then the one on the bottom right is actually facing the varsity baseball field. So that's
Yeah, Mike Cowdery's involved with some of the branding and motivational language that would be put up in there, so we're
Yep.
engaging the team.
As I mentioned before, this is the other project going on at the high school. It's the new gateway that is still the rendering. They haven't really started work on that, but as you can see from the 2 bottom pictures, they started to dig for the foundations and footings for the restroom building off to the top right.
I think it's also important to indicate that we are saving the donor bricks, so those are being removed and saved for replacement somewhere on site.
And then again, Blooming West, great progress in that building right now. We have everything all demoed out in the back area. The preschool still remains active and useful. We have separated it out per code with the proper firewalls and ratings, so there's no concerns there. You can start to see new walls are going up actually, which is really cool. And then new columns are being prepped so we can raise the roof and ultimately get the height that is needed for the robotics program. So you can see a lot of that. And truthfully, these pictures are a little outdated. They've made some good progress.
These are 3 weeks old, so.
And finally, as I mentioned before, the Fox Hills demolition. That building does not look like that anymore. It is down to the ground, and they will start removing the debris and getting the deep foundations and footings taken out. That's all.
Yeah, so with that, we'd like to open it up for questions that you may have with regards to the presentation we put forth this evening. Overall, we are sitting very good financially and on schedule. Like I said, we're down to 18 months here roughly, and we're going to be wrapped on this bond program. And with the way the interest carry is going, looks to me like we will have some extra money to do some things that maybe we couldn't initially afford to do. So we're working with Keith and Jake and the rest of the bond team to identify opportunities, I'm sure of which he will come to you for further discussion as we move into the summer and into over the winter for planning purposes.
So looking at your timeline.
Sure.
So two things. So is it fair that the Wellness Center I'm assuming just the wellness center, I don't know about the front gate, that's going to be done by June, second quarter?
That is correct.
So you're
We
saying-
are probably 2 or 3 months ahead of schedule on the wellness center and
So
may
that'll
even
be
improve upon that
Open
yet.
to be used for our student athletes by the summertime?
That is correct.
Okay.
We fully plan on turning that over in June. So any conditioning the football team wanted to get into a little bit earlier or other summer sports or activities, the facility would be available for use.
And then in terms of the gateway, because when will that be completed? Will that be completed before the fall, meaning that the parking situation will go back to normal for
Yeah,
this?
we are working diligently and have pretty much mandated that that needs to be turned over to us for fall activities to our Bart Miller, our contractor. And I believe that we are in a position to make that happen without any, there may be a little bit of, like landscaping may still be going on a little bit with, trying to get mature sod and things like that. But the buildings should be up, erected, and ready for use.
In the fall, meaning that then the parking will be freed up by the
Yes,
fall?
that is
and
correct.
then-
That whole parking pod by the tennis courts?
Yep.
will
And
be
then the final question is, for the robotics, is that third quarter? So when is the expected move from the current facility at Franklin to the new robotics?
The actual move, we still need to coordinate with Jake and his team and Keith. However, we feel like we are in a position to have that work completed in October, November of this year. So again, we're raising the roof. There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding that. It's a big undertaking. We're waiting to, school to kind of get over, but we've got a crane pad there. The crane's on order, and that work will be starting, probably in June. So I'm confident we'll be turning that facility over and ready for occupancy in October, November of this year.
So before the new season, which begins in January. So
That's
they
the goal.
should expect next season to be in that facility.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Awesome. It's nice to not see a lot of the red that we used to see before, so great progress so far. Could you remind, as I'm looking at the chart and the timeline, quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four, what are those months aligned with?
The heavy black line? Is that,
So quarter one timeline would be
Oh.
from what month to what month? Quarter two would be from what time frame?
January, so it's the first every 4 months, so
one,
yeah.
January to
April.
April, yep, and then
Okay.
so on and so
Okay, so when you said June for the project that Paul.
Trustee Cole.
I want to call you Paul every time I look at you. Trustee Colin made reference to, so for 2026, oh, I'm sorry, the one just looks like it's still running into, oh, okay, I see the line, my screen is so far away. So the transportation and maintenance renovation in the nature center, so we're not looking at that to start until, well, it's already in progress?
Yeah, we've actually
Yeah, we already-
started the design.
the
process.
design has already started. Actually, transportation, we just yesterday received the schematic design so we can start a pricing exercise to make sure that our budget is in line with what we have designed. So these timelines are construction-related timelines, so it's really not affecting design or pre-planning. Pretty much every project that we have left, we've already started planning for. So, for instance, like we have already done some due diligence on the farm and what we can do with the budget that we have there. Same with transportation and maintenance, over at Enterprise, what can we do there? So we have drawings that are underway that have been developed. Bart Mel is pricing those to make sure they align with what our expectations and our budget is, and then from there, we'll make some decisions and move forward. Any other questions?
And we're
Have there
starting,
been any changes to your schematics that you weren't expecting over this period of time?
I think we're still trying to figure out transportation a little bit, if we're going to actually add on to the facility or if we're going to renovate, the inner components of that. And I believe that Keith and Jake will talk further with you about some of their findings on that. But right now, the schematics do show us adding on to be able to accommodate some bigger buses and things like that. Certainly a brand-new bus wash, because that one is failing. structurally as well as mechanically. So that's going to be taken care of. And then we are upgrading a little bit of the office component over there, painting, finishes, giving the break room a little refresh, things of that nature. And then, one thing we are working through right now is what can we do and afford to do here at Booth with respect to maybe some improvements in here for our board meetings, and then maybe a secure vestibule, some other things that we hadn't necessarily talked about yet here for Booth, so.
And
I
how
have a
much
question.
money do you expect to have left over, you mentioned, could be reallocated? What's our high-level estimate?
For the, well, after we get done with our loan interest carry, and Candace can probably speak a little bit better to that than we are, but I think we're anticipating 8.5, 8.7 million maybe, total interest. Yeah, around there. And I believe that right now we've recognized, I can't even read. Can you read that? Let me get my glasses on. Hold
So
on.
you're saying when everything's done, we have an additional 8.7, you estimate, high level, an additional $8.7 million that can go into
No, this
it?
budget is already accounted for about 7 million of that 8.6, 8.7. So what I'm saying is we haven't recognized, we're thinking we may get another 1.6, 1.7
1.6 too.
of interest. It all depends on the market, how things go. I know we got a little arbitrage, things we're working through and some other stuff, but
And as you spend more, obviously, there's less in the
Yeah,
account
in the bucket.
to get the interest.
yeah.
So
So-
with the transportation, and are we still looking at EV options? And will there be a port designed within this space too for transportation?
I'd have to defer to Mr. McDonald on that, but at this point, I don't believe we're exploring EV options at all.
I'm getting, sheet in the head now, back here, so that has not been explored.
Yeah.
Not explored right now, but is there plans to?
We have not, I have not had any discussions regarding that.
I only asked because it's been a question asked before, and I know we had talked about EV as an option with the emissions in the community, since we're not relocating the transportation center.
I think in a prior board meeting, yeah.
So it was.
Yeah, the cost was a lot.
The cost to get the infrastructure to support that is not going to be
So I've-
conducive to this budget.
Right, I've done
There you
a lot
go.
of work.
That's a good
on
way of
this.
putting it.
In my previous role, we did a lot of work on this. It is cost prohibitive from the purchase price of an EV vehicle and the infrastructure. And so many school districts haven't. Some have gotten significant bond money, or significant grant money, rather, to fund these projects, but I have not been part of any discussions here regarding that, and it's not a direction that's been recommended.
We were able to explore a lot of our options when we were looking at building a brand-new facility on a different location. And unfortunately, by keeping transportation where it is, we can't bring the infrastructure up all the way from Kensington Road to make that happen. So that was kind of when the decision was made to keep it where it is. It kind of made us stay the course of our fuel. I will say, we add additives, low emissions, we don't have odor, we're a great neighbor to all the surrounding homes. We do the pro heaters, so we don't have to start our buses up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It pro heats it, so it can start right when we need to fire up our bus.
What's that called?
It's a Procore, I can actually get the real name, but it's almost like it warms it up. It automatically comes out and warms up our buses for us.
It's a remote starter almost.
Pretty much. But it allows us to do that without, a lot of other transportation facilities will run their buses for hours before the start of the shift.
Oh, wow.
We do not have to do that.
Oh, that's good.
All great facts that our community now has much more information.
Anything else? Any other questions?
Thank you. Don't mean to go backward, but.
All right.
We'll be back
Thank
here
you.
in probably May with our next quarterly report, so thank you again for your time.
Thank you.